Good evening, everyone. I am your maximizing coach, Deshawn Antoinette Booker. Hello, and yes, happy springtime. It is still beautiful springtime. I hope that you are wonderful and absolutely fantastic today on this wonderful Woke Wednesday. How have you been allowing yourself to stay woke in the middle of all that is happening in our world, right? You know what? I want to come in and just say this to all of us. If we continue to make choices that are always in alignment to our highest value, then we know that we are progressing in the right direction. I just want to drop that into your seat as you prepare for another great opportunity to sit with me and another phenomenal woman here on the Yummy Cafe. That's right, yummy. Your unlimited magnificence equals you and me. Now, you know I'm just that girl, right? I am just that girl that's always talking about the what? The backstage pass. Well, I wanted to have a platform, a space where we could truly recognize phenomenal women. And I want to know, how did they become phenomenal, successful women entrepreneurs, right? If I don't know anything, I know this. We people have, we are accustomed to looking at the person in their final run, right? Where they've landed and saying, my goodness, look at her. She is phenomenal. She's a boss babe. She has it going on. And she does. But you know what? How did she get there? Right? What were her steps? What did she really say that allowed her to turn her idea into an investment? How did she turn her mission and monetize it? Right? How did she turn her passion into profit? What did she do? Now we know the road into becoming a woman entrepreneur is a very tough one. And for those women that succeed, even when the odds are against them, I not just take my hat off to them, I am so honored by them, by their courage, their action, their persistence, and their continuously saying yes and being committed to their purpose. So I wanted to have this platform, come on now, where we can talk about how did they get there? What was their life like? Where were their highs, their lows? What was what I call the rose and the thorn of their journeys, right? And so this space is just that space so we can have that open dialogue, that beautiful communication, that exchange of creative ideas where we get to write down the notes and say, you know what? I'm not going to let this one get by me. I'm going to take down this note and apply it to my own self. Now, although I'm the host and I love being the host of the Yummy Cafe, I take notes too. I told you I'm just that girl. I want to know, how did she do it? What did she do? Because she is a phenomenal, successful woman. If you don't already know, I'll say it again. As a young girl, I would sit in the middle of the floor. I would gather my mother's magazines, right? I would flip through all of the pages until I found the women who were featured in the business section. And I would literally just marvel at them for hours. I did. I would even take out the pages and put them along my wall. When I got to Howard University, that was actually my wallpaper. Women who had been featured all over the world as successful women entrepreneur. They were all over my wall. It was my wallpaper. It also was my, at the time, and I didn't know, my vision board. Okay. So I would sit and just marvel at these women. And I said, then I knew I wanted to make an impact on the world the way these women were doing. I also knew I wanted to become a teacher, and I've been doing that for a very long time. But I'm also an entrepreneur. And as we know, there are some pain points along the way. They don't tell you about that when you sign up for it, now do they? I had to tell myself, Deshawn, it's all about the journey, your intimate journey. So on this platform, we get to hear these phenomenal, successful business women as they share with us their intimate journeys on how they became successful entrepreneurs. So, ladies, listen, if you're watching us live, you know I'm always inviting you to be a part of the dialogue exchange. If you're watching us and you're watching the replay, great. Make sure you put hashtag replay so that I know, so I can always refer to you if you have questions for myself and my guests. We're going to get back to you. I promise that we are. We're not going to leave you hanging, okay? Because this is the Yummy Cafe, and we're here to give you some yummy for your tummy, honey. We want you to be able to take these nuggets and implement them into your goals so that you can what? Live in your full magnificence. I am so excited about our guest today. Listen, as I love to say, I have been knowing this beautiful woman for, I believe, over 30 years at the least, right? And you just never know how you're going to move and become what? Co-partners, friends, sisters with someone that is truly of a like mind as yourself. So I'm excited that she was able to move some things around in her schedule and come and share with us her intimate journey. Miss Mori Edwards is the founder and director of Choreography Movement Works, honey. Don't you just love it? Miss Mori, as she is affectionately called, is an accomplished professional dancer, award-winning choreographer, movement specialist, instructor, and coach. She is a graduate of Loyola Marymount University right here in Los Angeles, California, and a recognized California State Art Scholar. Miss Mori has had the outstanding experience in being able to be led by some of the greatest dancers and choreographers in the dance world. Some of them, and not all, but to mention Miss Debbie Allen, Arthur Mitchell, the late Arthur Mitchell of Dance Theater of Harlem, Donald McHale, along with various instructors from the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Cleo Parker, Robinson Dance Theater during their tenure here in Los Angeles. She also has worked with Tina Landon, who is best known for her award winning work with Janet Jackson. Later, as an adult, and that was when she says an adult. What was she doing then, right? My God, I can't wait for you to hear this woman's story. I can't wait. Miss Mori cultivated her professional dance career here in Los Angeles. She later became friends with the number one phenomenal hip hop artist and choreographer Fatima Robinson, just to name a few. Miss Mori has worked with Amazing Grace Conservatory here in Los Angeles under the artistic direction of Miss Wendy Raquel Robinson, which also Miss Mori was given the NAACP Theater Award for Best Choreography of a Non-Equity Play. Miss Mori accomplished monumental works on stage as well as television and film. Miss Mori entered her global dance communities with her dance works and instruction being featured in Panama, Brazil, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Isles, and across the U.S. My goodness. I don't bring you all anything less than excellent, right? I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. Ms. Mori is a phenomenal woman who is now launched into getting her certifications, which she'll talk to you about, in Pilates training and other specialized services in movement dance ministry. She is an experience to behold, embodying a genuine love and passion for dance, expressive with creative freedom with her stage works and making moving pictures of life. Miss Mori is a dancing presence to be reckoned with. I certainly know because she has been such a vital part in my theatrical directorial debuts of my own productions and other productions we worked on. And we'll talk about that when she jumps into the room. So without any further ado, I bring to the platform and to the room and to the Yummy Cafe table my sister friend, my dearest sister friend. Yes, Miss Mori. I call her Miss Mori Love. Miss Mori Edwards. Hello, Miss Mori.
Hey there. Hey, hey. Wow. on the bio. Okay, like whoa. I love it though.
It's you,
Thank
Maury.
you.
It's you. How are you?
I'm good
Listen,
today. Thank you. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
it's gonna be a delight. Listen, she's not over in the Isles anywhere, anyone. She's not in Puerto Rico. She's here in Los Angeles for a moment, and she's gonna
Yeah.
give us all of her insight. She's gonna share with us how did all of this happen, right? You heard me give her bio, and then there was a part in her bio, in some of her bio. I didn't read all of it, and then, but the good parts, and it's all good. She said when she became an adult, then she transitioned to another level. The first level was already wow, right? So I cannot wait to hear her story of how she truly allowed her purpose to become flourished as a young person. What did that look like
Yes.
for her? More, you know, I know some things, but you're going to tell us all of what we don't know and shed some light to that.
Absolutely.
Here in this dialogue, we really give the backstage pass to what did it
Absolutely.
all look like, right? And you heard me,
Right.
give me the introduction. And so often, right? People on the outside see where you are today. They see
Yeah.
what you've done and what you're doing, and they say, "Ah, that's easy. She wakes up and do that in her sleep from her sleep." And maybe she does. But how did you arrive there, right? So we just really want to have that conversation with you this
Good.
evening, and we just say thank you for a lot. Look, she got a class. She had something before this. She's just always Miss Mori on the move.
Yeah.
Right,
That's where I
right,
got that from. Really.
right.
That's where I got it from.
So
Yes.
listen,
Miss
Maury, we're
Morgan.
gonna jump right into it because this is your show. I'm just
Mhm.
here to facilitate a great conversation. And again, those of you that are watching, we are so excited that you have joined us. Don't be shy in letting us know your comments, your feedback. If you have a question,
Yes.
we're here for all of that, right, Maury? We want them
Absolutely.
to come on into
Absolutely.
the room and
Yes.
be a
Come on
part
in.
of this phenomenal conversation that we're going to have today. I
Right.
always love for the guest to really
Mhm.
just begin with what I call movements. And I know Maury likes that because it's a part of the dance, vernacular, right? But
Yes.
as a storyteller, I love to use the word movements because it's fluid, right, Maury? It doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
want you to share with us those movements in your life that truly triggered, and instilled in you who you are and where you're going, in your life with what you're doing. So, of course, we start with, the inception, right? I always
Mm,
call this also the genesis. We all have a
true.
genesis, we
True.
have a beginning of how this thing all happened. Maury, I'm going to stop talking. I want you to share with us what was your inception moment of everything that you are today and what you are continuing to be. How did this dance thing come about, in your spirit, in your life? What happened? We are here to listen.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for having me. Thank you for that phenomenal introduction. I'm excited to be here. And my inception moment happened quite young. I started dancing when I was 3. And I don't
Wait,
have a
Maury,
lot
let
of,
me let me wait. I don't usually interrupt the guests, but now,
okay.
how did you start dancing? You have to give us what was the first thing you did or knew at 3? What did that look like for us? Right? We want to know. Like, wait a minute, what did that even look
Absolutely.
like? Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. I'm going to give you a picture. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
picture. Ballet tap combination class at Blackwell's Dance Academy off of
Hmm.
Crenshaw and 78th.
I went there, Miss Honey,
Okay.
Miss Blackwell, with her little mean self. Okay.
But she was the business and she set the precedence. So if any of my students watching, you know where I get it from. Because I don't dance is a discipline. That's the first thing.
Yes.
People
Hmm.
need to understand that. It's you get to have the fun and there's freedom in the fluidity, but it comes through the discipline. You got to learn all of this movement vocabulary before you can be able to flourish and use the movement vocabulary. So I started there. I have a picture. I don't have it anymore. I think my mom has it, but a line of us girls, and we have on our little costumes, and I'm in whatever pose in the picture, and everybody else is looking down the line like this, trying to see what I'm doing. So, Miss Blackwell's every Saturday morning. I want to say it was at age 5 that an experience happened to me that made me know for absolutely positively sure. It may have been a little, no, it was around the same time. Yeah, 5. Okay, because I have another story I want to share with you too. All right, so one Friday night, my mom, my sister, my family, we went somewhere. I don't know, amusement park, whatever. That look, that's not what I remember. I do remember that we got home late that night and we went to
Mhm.
sleep. Saturday morning was inevitably gonna come. So when my mom woke me up to get me ready for dance class, I was like, I'm sleepy, mommy. I want to go to sleep. I'm sleepy. So she said to me, okay, Maury. She talking to a 5-year-old, like, she grown, can make her own decisions, right? But she said, okay, Maury, if you don't go this morning, then we're not going anymore. And I
Mm.
was sleepy. All I wanted to do was go back to sleep. So I was like, okay, okay, thinking nothing of 5-year-old mind, right? The following Saturday, I felt in my body that I was sleeping too long. So I woke up and was like, hey, what's going on? I wake up and go into the living room where typically there is music playing. There's a whole little buzz in the house.
Yeah.
Mommy's cooking sausage or something, some bacon, some toast, something. There's something cooking, and there's activity. My sister was getting up and everything. Nothing was happening that morning. So I'm like, this ain't right. I go to my mother's bedroom and I open the door, and she's laying in the bed asleep. So Mommy, it's time to go to dance class. And she said, no, Maury. She rolled over. She was like trying to ignore me. She rolled over and looked at me and said, no, Maury, remember I told you last week that if you didn't get up and go, we weren't going anymore. And I said,
Mm.
no, but mommy, it's Saturday and it's time for dance class. We gotta go. And she said, I'm sorry. I'm
Wow.
We're not going to dance class. And she rolled back over, pulled the covers up, and went back to sleep. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I swear it had to be a month because back you pay monthly payments for the lessons or whatever. That month seemed like forever, ever, ever in a day that we did not go to dance class. And I cried. And I
Mm.
said, Mommy, please, I gotta go to dance class. Please, Mommy, please. I can't do it no more. And that's when I knew that
Yeah.
I absolutely could not dance.
Mm. Mm.
That was just not ever doable, ever.
Yes.
I was just
Yes.
gonna die inside. So
Wow.
that was when I
Mm.
started dancing, and I gained so much confidence. And um, I think at this point in the game, I could totally say that I know that I was gifted with the gift of dance, and it is who I was created to be and to do. The
Mm.
other little story I wanted to tell you, because it's not just dance, but then the creative part, the choreography. And this part I didn't find out until a few years ago, this specific little nugget. So in kindergarten, I went to Centinela Elementary School in Inglewood.
Mhm.
And my mom told me that I came home one day from kindergarten and
Yeah.
said, Mommy, I want to be in the school talent show. Can I please be in the school talent show? So my mom said, yes. And she said to me that, all right, let's sign you up and all of that. So I don't remember a lot about the process.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember was that my mom took my tap shoes from my little recital outfit that same year, from that where that picture is, the girls looking down the line like, well, what do we do? That same little picture, right? That same
Yes.
time frame.
Yes.
She
I
took
love
my
it.
leotard and my tap shoes, and she sprayed the tap shoes silver. She took a cardboard side of a box, right? A cardboard box, and she cut out what looks like, or back in the day, a key that used to wind up a toy. She
Okay.
took a piece of elastic and she sewed it onto, somehow she sewed this elastic and onto this key, this cardboard, spray painted both the shoes and the key silver. Had my little leotard from my outfit, my little fishnet stockings or tights or whatever. And I was dancing machine, Michael Jackson. So I stood on the stage by myself. She said I was the only one that did a solo performance, the only one. 5 years
Okay.
old,
Wow.
kindergarten.
Wow.
So I'm frozen. Some little boy comes and winds me up. The music starts and I start dancing. So here's the tidbit about the choreography. Had no idea. Had no
Yeah.
idea. Had no idea. I didn't even know. One day, my sister somehow, maybe my mom and sister were together and the song came on the radio. I have no idea what it was. But my sister ended up telling me that she and my mom had this little conversation because I
Hmm.
knew that I did the talent show. But here's the
Yeah.
tidbit that I didn't know. My sister said she asked my mom, well, so did Maury, how did that happen and whatever. My mom told my sister that I would ask my mom to play the record. We had the 45. Remember 45s?
Yes, the
We had the
45.
45
Absolutely.
record, the little 45. And she said that any time that I asked her to play the music, she would do it for me and I would start doing the same thing on the same parts.
Okay.
Anytime we were riding in the car. Right, Deshaun.
So
Yes.
you knew
Anytime,
something about
right,
consistency and what went along with what beat. Yeah, that was just you were creating and didn't even know you were creating some type of routine or pattern.
girl. I
Okay.
had no clue that that was birthed at age 5. I thought, and it made me think. It made
Yeah.
me really, really think like,
Yes.
wow, okay, I remember being like the lead of the drill team in elementary
Yes.
school. I remember making up the steps on the sidewalk with the girls on
Hmm.
the block. I was
Hmm.
definitely a leader. I
Yes.
knew that, but literally, I choreographed my own first piece, and I thought that my
Yes.
first piece of actual choreography was done in the ninth grade. I went to Bancroft Magnet Junior High School, and I was the very first student who was ever able to choreograph for the dance production class, which was a notch above the other dance classes.
Okay.
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 So I
Okay.
thought that was my first piece of choreography in the ninth
Right.
grade.
Right.
Okay. Then my sister gives me this little tidbit of information
Yes. Yes.
just a few years, I want to say it was like maybe 2018. I broke down and cried because I
Yes.
did not know that. Like my mother never told me that. Well, you always did the same thing on the same part. She told my sister that. I never
Okay.
asked. Dance
Yeah.
is just such a part of who I am. I did I
Hmm.
so my mother told my sister that on the same parts when I was riding in the car when it would come on the radio. Then when we were at home, I would ask my mother to put the music on so I could practice. I had no idea, Deshaun. My
What you were
very
doing.
first piece of
Yes.
choreography was at 5 years old. That changed the game for me a few years ago
Okay.
because there was another level of not just confidence, because I had gotten, the NAACP award when I did work with Wendy Raquel Robinson. So I've done some things and, but to know at that age.
Right.
So when you talk about inception moment,
Yeah, I'm hearing
woo,
there was a deeper for you, a deeper spiritual connectedness, a connectivity. Maury,
yes,
by the way, is my SAT friend. She knows she always use her SAT words. She used all these
yes,
words. Maury is the wordsmith, and I'm like, okay.
yes,
She has Mauryisms, and then she uses real words that nobody else
yes,
uses all the time. She just loved SAT, so she would love that I'm saying connectivity at this
yes,
time.
connectivity,
She would love that
yes,
I'm
yes,
saying that, right, Maury? So really, Maury, I just felt that in me that when you said that, it was like, wow, you said
yeah,
that was just a different, another level of, and I heard connectivity to the
yes,
divine calling, the divine purpose,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And this was just like 2018, 29, somewhere maybe
Yeah,
late 2018 going into 2019,
powerful,
that
powerful.
that revelation, because I call myself making a deal with God. Like, listen, can I, as I raise my children and stuff, there's more money on the other side of the camera than it is in front of the camera, even though I know I was created to be in front of the camera
Okay.
or on the stage.
So
Um,
let me just jump in here this because I want to move you
sure.
into. I love where you're
Yeah.
saying the
Yes.
inception was there. Then as an adult or young adult, what did that look like for you? How did you
Oh,
translate your inception into this bio, right?
right.
How did you do
Okay.
that? How did you know
Man,
that?
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In
my
the
mom was
inception
very
time moments of.
Yes, my mom was, I don't know even know how to, because she was a single mom and she was the business. She I don't even know what else to say. But so she had me in all kinds of programs.
Okay.
I thank God for the gift because it afforded me to get scholarships. So I was able to be exposed to such wonder, all of the Alvin Ailey, Cleo Parker Robinson, Dance Theater of Harlem. I went to Inner City Cultural Center. I know you did too. And back then they were like the Black dance mecca. So any
Yes.
Black dance companies that were coming, any Black
Came here.
theatrical companies that were coming,
Yes.
they were going to Inner City Cultural Center.
Yes, they
And
were.
so it in those years the training was quite intense, and I know that my mom gladly, accompanied me or got me there, whatever. I know she wished to God that there was an Uber back then, um because she was, taking me and toting me and everything. But
Right.
the
Right. Of course.
being
Right.
there, getting homework done and all that other stuff, I was on top of it because I didn't want anything to jeopardize that. But that was the exposure that I had gotten at 15 years old. I booked my first
Mhm.
professional gig, meaning that I was paid as a dancer to
Okay.
perform. And my dance mama, I have three. I have three dance mamas. One of them, Karan Brown Lehman, who
Mhm.
is now across the seas. But she, um, man, she's the one who hired me for my. I mean, I got to dance with like some of the major like dance greats. I danced with Cheryl Lee Ralph and Alfonso Ribeiro when he was the tap dance kid. We
Mhm.
did 42nd Street with him. That was when I danced tap. I learned how to do tap, but it wasn't because I knew what the technical terms were. Karan taught it to me. She was the choreographer for the event. It was called Broadway in LA. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
1985.
Beautiful.
It was phenomenal. Carl Anderson, the late Carl Anderson. There were
Yes.
so
Yes.
many people who were a part of this project that it was, oh Lord, today it was just so wonderful. And so I learned the choreography for the tap dance like it was regular, like okay, Tombe, Papa Regli, Sajite, like it was a ballet number, but I learned it in
Yeah.
tap. Nonetheless, so at 15, I started dancing professionally, being paid
Mhm.
to dance. And then later, when I went to high school, I was telling somebody this story just earlier today that I wanted to dance so badly that I was looking in the back of a dance magazine right as I was getting ready to end, like it was getting like I think maybe the top of the second semester in junior high school, and I was saying I wanted to go. Remember the Facts of Life TV show
Yes. Of
where the
course.
girls were at the boarding school with Mrs. Garrett and all of that?
Mhm.
Well, I love the show. I found in the back of a dance magazine that North Carolina had a boarding high school for the arts, an arts high school.
Wow. Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm
This
going to
is
go
me.
dance. I'm out of here. I'm going to go
Right.
dance. And
Right.
literally, not long after I told my mother I was very serious about it, she came home with an article from the LA Times that the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts was being birthed. And auditions were at such and such a date and such a time.
Right.
I
Yeah.
auditioned for the high school, got
Yeah.
in. After I graduated high school, even before I graduated high school, I
Mhm.
knew that I was going to be dancing. And so my mom moved to the East Coast before my high school years were done. I was like, "Can I stay? I want to." There's something about being here.
Yeah.
When I was 16 years old, I had an opportunity to go to New York. I had an opportunity to move to Paris, France, to
Wow.
dance.
You turned down Paris? Okay. We're listening. Keep going.
Absolutely. I remember one of my dance teachers at Inner City told me, "Oh, I'm about to get tears. Lord Jesus, thank you, God." Um, he said, "They're watching you in New
Yes.
York. They're watching you. They know who you are." And I mean, it was wonderful. I still
Yes.
haven't been to New York to dance,
Mhm.
but every time they came here,
Yes.
they were here. Yes, I danced for the wonderful Debbie Allen. That didn't happen until my young adult. That's what I'm saying. My young adult years for the Academy Awards, and did another project before it was the Hot Chocolate Nutcracker. It was just the
Mhm.
Chocolate Nutcracker
Chocolate.
under a different
Mhm. Yes.
producer, and so
Mhm.
I danced for her for one of the segments. It was amazing. She is, ooh, you already know, you know. But anyway, so those are the kinds of nuggets of things that happened before I'd even graduated from high school. 16 years old, I had a full scholarship at Harvard, not Howard, but Harvard, you know, Cambridge, you know, the Ivy League for dance. And so full scholarship. All I had to do was pay for my trip there and home. It was
Girl,
amazing. So lots of exposure, lots of
love that.
training, all different dance styles, literally ballet, jazz, modern, African tap, flamenco, salsa. You got it.
So, right. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Awesome initial journey steps there. How did this then begin to, for you as an adult, transition into business, ministry, career? What was the inception of, who Miss Mori
Those,
is today, right? Moriography,
yes,
movement works. How did that,
yes,
what was
yes.
that inception like before we go into our next two movements? How did that happen?
Sure. Well, you know what?
Did you think
The
about
thing
it in
inside
that
of
way
me
is
to
what
dance.
I'm asking? Yeah.
No, well, no, but definitely not then.
Oh,
All I wanted to do was dance.
right.
I'm telling you, before I graduated from college, spring break of my senior year, I booked my first tour. I danced for Shanice Wilson and Mint Condition. We were on tour. And I was supposed to go before it was time to graduate. And I said, listen, if we don't, I got to graduate, y'all. Let me tell
Yeah.
you,
Yeah. Yeah.
Miss
Right.
Jackie,
Right.
she would come find me wherever we were on the road and kill me if I
Bring
did
you
not
right
walk
back.
that stage. So, love you, mommy. But and I thank you because yeah, you know, had you not been that way, I'd have probably been
Right.
like, I'm on tour.
Right.
So I had to graduate, but the choreographer herself took my place, Miss Regina Williams. She took my place and danced for the first couple of weeks of the tour because I had 3 more weeks before it was graduation. So
Yes.
it was all about I wanted to dance. I did the videos, I did stage work, I did touring, and it was wonderful. So for me, it was I wanted to dance.
Yeah.
It didn't become more of the business side until after I had had my first child, my only daughter, and got married and had a family. I have 3 wonderful children now, and I'm thankful that my journey went that way. So the whole thing with the choreography and realizing that there's a little bit more stability, a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more you know, the financial thing, it
Yes.
could be more sure that way. I could have a little bit more control and be able to raise my family, my children, um, with teaching and doing choreography. So that
Okay.
was what that, so none of that, like I said, I didn't get the revelation about my first piece, you know, that I created. You know, I never thought about being a choreographer. It was
Yeah.
all I'm
Oh,
dancing. I gotta dance. I gotta dance.
okay.
So
So it's
that
some
other thing didn't happen until later. Go ahead.
well, and so let's shift into that because our next movement, question really has to do with being in a business, right? That is
Yeah,
competitive. And you said you had not thought about, being this having this title of choreographer, right?
right, right.
um when that began to bloom within you or show
Mhm,
itself through different opportunities, right, whether
mhm,
they were intentional or not, right, when
right,
that began
mhm,
to happen for you and you began to think about teaching
yeah,
classes, getting
mhm,
certifications, right, being a person that
yeah,
is now saying I'm here for a service as well as being the performer
mhm,
in a very competitive market. And here in LA, what were some hurdles that you saw for yourself as an artist, as an instructor, a choreographer, a dancer, as you began to
mhm,
shape your own classes or fee for
yeah,
services,
yeah,
right? What were some of
yeah,
those hurdles that you had to recognize? And I always say confront in order to conquer.
mhm.
When I'm coaching my
Mhm.
own clients and we're talking about how do we really achieve what we want, right? We say it
Yeah.
in theory, but in the real world, it's very competitive. You're going to have the
It
barriers, the
is.
breakdowns. You're going to have all of these,
Yeah.
things that are really going, not things, you're going to have setbacks, right? You're going to have
Yeah.
things that are not going to really, happen for you the way that you want. So
Yeah.
how did those hurdles for you, if you can identify some of them tangibly, what were they and what did
Easy.
you do to say, I have to keep moving forward. I got to push through this.
Um, First of all, I'm gonna say that it's so intrinsic in me. That engine that said, I gotta dance, I gotta move, um, always was going. Always. It never stopped. Never
Hmm.
stopped. Even while I was pregnant with my children. Devin, not so much, because she was the first pregnancy. I didn't know what the heck what was what. But with Benjamin and Joshua, I danced to the 8th and the 9th months. That's how much, and I was teaching. I was teaching at AGC and a couple of other places, and it's just so intrinsic, literally. So that's like the undercurrent. Okay, so one of the hurdle moments that is easily identifiable is that, mindset wise, my mother, she was saying, when you in college, you could be an entertainment lawyer and you could
Mm.
dance on the side.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
grandmother worked 35 years at Pacific Bell, the post,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
phone telephone company.
Hmm.
My aunts and uncles had jobs and careers at the post office. My mother was a nurse, a very high skilled, highly sought after nurse. She worked at a couple of few um, very popular hospitals. She was actually working at Brotman the night that Michael Jackson got brought there when he burned himself from the Pepsi commercial. My mother was working at Brotman that night, Brotman Hospital, which is in Culver City. My uncle worked for McDonnell Douglas. I came from that kind of background. And so it was like the dancing thing is cute
Yeah.
and it's nice, it's wonderful, it's artistic and creative, and it matches your personality and do 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 do.
Matches your
However,
person.
yeah, but however, like, okay, really, like, the undercurrent from them was, all right, you need to get a job because that's not
Yeah.
going.
It's not
And
going to cut
so
it. It's not going to cut it.
that's what they said. And
Right.
so, um,
So you said your mindset. So what did you have to do there? That's a
so it
good
was always
point to
a
make.
fight. I had to get beyond that. And I thank God for the intrinsic, organic God gift, do through, whatever we want to call that, connectivity, because that was always my driving thing, always. And so it wasn't hard
Hmm.
to know that this is what I'm supposed to do. And because it's what I'm supposed to do, I cannot fail.
Yeah.
There was a moment though, as I had become a single mother and was raising my children, was no longer married, that I had to I had a come to Jesus moment. I took my kids to school. I did not have a job. I was working. Things were getting behind. I wasn't working, I'm saying, and things were getting behind. And I took the kids to school, came back to my apartment, laid prostrate on my face in a
All right.
cross.
All right. Yes.
And I just said, God, I know you did not give me this gift for you to be sitting on your throne looking down at me, just saying, oh, girl, I just wanted to see what you was going to do with that.
Mm.
That's exactly what I said to God. I said, so, Father,
Yeah. Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
where this other thing, when I was 5, kind of clicks in. Because I said to God in that moment, can I please? And I almost like I was begging or asking, just, hey, listen, thought I was kind of like bargaining with God. Like, can I just teach? And can I do core? I know all it takes is one. Let me just book one good gig that'll make me, several thousands of dollars. And,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and I believe
Yes.
that day is coming, because I mean I've had some gigs, but I mean the gigs, right?
Yes. Yes.
That was a hurdle because I was going to work in a corporate environment. I could do all that. Got all the
Mm.
administrative
Mm.
skills. I could, yes,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Matter of fact, some
Yes.
of those I'm employing now. On the phone, and you didn't know that I was the skin tone that I am, or the
Yes.
cultural background that I have because of my professional voice, to be able to answer a phone and to take care of messages, and just being very personable and all these other things. I just said, God, if I go into that building where it's stiff and dry, The air conditioning is cracking my skin and I cannot dance. I'm going to die inside.
Yes. Yes.
I cried out, and
Yes.
literally, not much longer, I got called to teach full time at a very prominent, at that time, a very prominent charter school that had wait lists of thousands. Full time with benefits, making a really, really, really good amount of money for a teacher. And it was not part time. It had insurance for my kids and everything, dental, vision, health, life insurance, everything. It was wonderful. I mean, I'm saying everything because,
Right.
that's the
Right.
kind of
Right.
security that my
Right.
family was saying I
Wanted you
needed
to
to
have.
have.
Let
So
me
it
ask you
allowed
this.
me.
Let me jump in more and ask you this question because what you're saying is so powerful, and I want those that are watching and watching the replay to get this, that in the journey along our way of truly manifesting purpose,
Mhm.
there are going to be barriers and obstacles, and sometimes they come even in the face of family, and family
Yeah.
shows up in a loving way and they're supporting you and want the best for you, but
Yeah.
you knew that, and you have to know, those that are watching live and the replay, what is intrinsic in you, what have you been called to do, because
Yeah.
sometimes that love note from a family can really disrupt where you're going. So
Absolutely.
when you decided to understand the love note but not let it affect you to determine your will to continue to go,
Yeah.
how did you then, you did that, what
Yeah.
happened in creating this business in this competitive market? How did you then, what is your niche, what is, how do you show up differently in your business ministry, right? And we're going to see that in just a little bit, as before we close they'll be able to see an opportunity of your services, right? But
Mhm. Mhm.
how did you create your niche in this competitive market? And that's a hurdle I see, because
Yeah.
so many different people, or people within the dance arena are have that
Mhm.
gift or doing that. How did you
Mhm.
stand out? How did you overcome that hurdle and create your niche in your business? Ministry
I'm
is
gonna
what
be
I call
honest with you. Yeah, my business ministry, because God is He's made Himself way too real to me for me to deny. I can't. So it is my business ministry because I know that I was created to serve Him. I thought in ways it would be other than what it is, but it is through dance, and I'm so thankful and grateful. I don't have to be a speaking evangelist, although I can do that very, very well.
it.
I
Mhm.
just demonstrate through my body and in my everyday living. I, you got to live right. So that's a whole other topic. We'll talk about that another time. However, creating my niche has been being authentic in it, being me. That's what I bring to the table that's different. Some people dance and some people do a lot of different movements, but not everybody is telling the story. That's
Okay.
why I say in my bio that it's moving pictures of life. There are things that happen
Yeah.
through what God has done in my life, and I bring all of that. So when you get my choreography, or when you get my women's workshops, or when you get a master class, or when you get, just a Pilates session, I'm bringing a wealth of information, a wealth of love and heart for people, um and then just like character,
Yeah. Yeah.
integrity. I'm bringing
Yes.
these things as I come. I used to say to people, like, you know what, wherever you go, you always got to take you to the party. And I
Hmm.
say, when I walk in, I'm bringing the party. It's true. So I
Yeah.
don't, like a musician has to bring an instrument. An artist has to have a pen, a pencil, a crayon, a marker, a pastel, a paintbrush, watercolors, all these other things. I am
Right.
it.
Right. 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 Right.
So I can do a full scale class without music. All we need is time, space, and opportunity. And you get, as God gives me, wisdom. There's lots of different approaches and
Yes.
methods to get to the end, but that's the niche that and so my niche is, I just told somebody else this earlier today too, from age 3, because I started at age 3, all the way to 103,
Yes.
literally.
Yes.
literally. So my niche is all things movement. My niche is all people that are willing and desiring, from professionals to novices, or from
Yeah.
novices to
Yes.
professionals, from babies to their second childhood, as long as they want to dance.
So I love that. I love that imagery that you created just now, with the age groups, right, or that
Yeah,
demographic. But the
yeah.
underlying current that I believe, if I'm right, that I'm hearing, correct me, is that your ability to create visuals through movement, through
Hmm.
artistry, is so
Hmm.
authentic that it does empower others. It empowers and changes them
Absolutely,
through what you're doing.
absolutely,
And so that to
absolutely.
me sounds like that's your niche, or that's how the hurdle that you overcome
Hmm.
within this competitive market. There's some
Hmm.
markets within dance that, it's entertaining, right? It's for exercise, and those things are great, right?
Yes,
It's secondary. But what I'm hearing with you when you say, from 3 to 103, is that you're really giving back to an individual the ability to feel empowered, to feel,
absolutely.
encouraged, to feel lively again, or whatever age they
Yes,
are, wherever they are. That's amazing. That's amazing. So
yes.
that's a powerful, way to really set up who you are within your business. I love that. So here's our next moment, because we got to get to some of the great things. We're just having a great time. Your worthy moment. I love to ask the guests, the phenomenal women entrepreneurs as yourself, when did you, and this is whenever it happened for you, when did you realize that your life was worthy of your calling? See, I have coached women and men, but I'm speaking to women in this
Hmm.
platform for over 20 years. I ran into, including myself, and I've ran
Mhm.
into so many women who have said to me, Deshaun, how do I stay consistent? How do I
Mm.
know what I want to do? I love what I do. How do I stay consistent? How do I stay committed? And I take them through what that looks like, right? In tangible, authentic ways that show up for each
Mhm.
individual. How did you decide that? Yes, you knew at the inception. Yes, you had the hurdles. Yes, your mom and your family said no, choose this, but you still knew intrinsically what was in you.
Yeah.
How did you know that you were worthy of it? I call it your oxygen. What was that
Mm.
like? Yeah. When did you know this was the oxygen as an adult, that this is my business and I must serve others with it? It was worthy of who you are.
Man. So I would say once that breakthrough happened where I began to teach, it was like, okay, I get to share my love for what I do. I get to empower and impart into individuals that are just as crazy about it as I am. That was definitely part of it. Well, the thing is that okay, so teaching at a performing arts conservatory where kids are specialized and they it you know what I mean, that that kind of thing is cultivated in a place like that.
Yes.
But as I'm in the public school and even just finished at, I've taught at several public charter schools, private schools, and just recently finished a stint with LAUSD and teaching for them. It's in those moments when, sound like Jesus, out of the 10 lepers, only one came back to say thank you. But it's in moments where I'm in the grocery store and I hear, Miss Mori? And I see a kid who I haven't seen, who is not a kid anymore, who's
Mm.
grown, who tells me, thank you so much for not letting up on us. Thank you so much for the things that you taught us in dance class. Thank you so. So those are the moments that help me to remember that it was worth it. The fight was worth it. Even now, as one of the things that I do, I'm working now with some seniors, and to see them get it,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's like or whatever. The business. It's wonderful. I love the opportunity to be able to get people to come outside of their comfort zones, sometimes
Yeah.
outside of their cultural boundaries,
Mm.
to be
Mhm.
able to find a way to express themselves through this thing that is not so them, but then it becomes them. It's like they put on a jacket
Yeah,
and
zip
they
it up.
wear it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and they wear
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those are my worthy moments when I know
They're
that this is
reward. It's
for
rewarding to see your
very
past,
much so.
students or clients or those you've
Yes.
touched.
Yes.
Talk a
Yes.
little bit about. You didn't know I was going to say this, and you got to go quick because I got to get to your worthy,
Right.
your journey words, and but you didn't know I was going to say this is what I said. I'm going to throw something in. You didn't know how much. How did it feel for you? And not in a self righteous place because that's not who Maury is. But
No.
how did it feel for you or resonate with your purpose being used as a vessel to travel outside of the US and and
Ooh,
and deposit into lives that you may not ever see again? You didn't know I was
listen.
going to ask you that. You didn't know I was going
No,
to ask you that.
girl, but I'm so glad. I
I told you I got stuff
know.
over here.
Listen.
How did you that was that is that worthy? Is that how does that because you don't see, but to go and deposit into those countries. Can you speak to that for a moment, please, Miss Mori?
Listen. Listen. Oh my goodness. First of all, dance and music are definitely universal languages for sure. My very first trip out of the country teaching in Panama, which they speak Spanish. Here in Los Angeles, there are a lot of people, a large
You
population of
got to
people
get
that
to it
speak
more. You got
Spanish.
to get to it now. You got to
So
get.
listen,
You
okay, let
like
me
to get.
give you the goodness.
I need to
I didn't
know
even have to say a whole lot, like to say words to them because it was in the movement and all the da da ooh the words, not words, but I guess you can say
the
re
nonverbal, the
emphasis.
expressions,
Thank you, girl. Nonverbal, yes, honey. Them SAT words. Nonverbal expression, going with the movement. Oh my goodness, it was incredible, an incredible experience. One was
mm,
just to straight teach, but it was amazing. We did a little bit of mission work teaching while we are in Panama. Same thing in Brazil. It was a dance missions trip.
okay,
Okay, so when you go and you do
powerful.
like
That
missions
is
work,
so powerful.
well, we did it all through dance. It was the
Oh,
business. There's
how and
nothing like it.
is that a worthy moment, Maury? Are those
Oh my God.
worthy moments?
Unbelievably, especially, and here's the thing, I got a certificate for teaching at the University of Panama that,
Wow, wow.
and honey, they was famed down with their leg warmers and they they was not
Not fame
playing.
down, not fame down.
They was famed down. They were not playing in Panama, honey. Them
I love
babies
it.
was
I
ready.
love it. I love it. I
These
love
young
it.
adults, they were soaking it up like several sponges. They
Yes,
were
yes,
hungry
yes,
for it, and it was so easy to
yes,
feed them. And it
yes.
was definitely majorly worthy,
Wow.
majorly worthy. And so, yes, same thing being in Puerto Rico, just taking in the culture, but then they're hungry for what it is that I'm bringing, knowing that I'm coming from
Okay.
Los Angeles, California, the entertainment
Right,
capital of the world, La La Land,
right,
Hollywood,
right.
so it wasn't so much like celebrity treatment or anything like that, but it was definitely just again being authentic, being
Mm,
myself in
mm,
elements where I didn't have to try to be anybody else. And it was what made me me that got me there that they were hungry for. So
love it.
those experiences were oh girl, yes. I'm looking
Yes,
forward to the next opportunity to do so.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
How powerful, and not in a selfish or self-righteous way, but how powerful to go within your calling and deposit
Yeah.
into the lives of others where
Yeah.
language isn't a barrier,
It
right?
wasn't.
Where there
It
is no
wasn't.
barrier. There all things are, just equal, and you shed that
Yeah.
layers of skin and you connect and
Yes.
communicate and minister.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
so awesome, Maury. That's so awesome that you from being the girl in the line, doing that in the picture, right? To
Yeah.
being
Yes.
the woman who has really been able to go across the seas, to really allow yourself to be used as a vessel by God in a business
Absolutely.
ministry that
Yes.
um, is really much more bigger than even yourself,
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
parents were saying, mom and family, no, 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 and this is what
Right.
the yes, yes, yes looks like.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
So hold
Absolutely.
on to your journeys, entrepreneur
Yes.
women out right.
Yes.
Hold
Yes.
on to what you know is in your belly. Hold on to what
Absolutely.
you know is in your heart. Hold
Yeah.
on to that.
Yeah. Yeah. The
There
most true
is
you want.
no, right. There's no
Mm-mm.
wavering with that. So
Mm-mm.
I wanted to just really speak to that because
Yeah.
I believe it's so powerful and that you allowed yourself, you surrendered all of your life
Yes.
to your
Yeah.
calling at no
Yeah.
cost, no
Yeah.
compromise.
No
Um,
compromise.
and as we talk about that, it brings me to your journey words. I always love to have the women entrepreneurs share with us 3 words that have really been their journey words and what do these
Mm.
words mean to them on their journey. And let's hear your
Mhm.
story, Maury, of your 3 words as you share with us and generate
Absolutely.
them. And thank
Absolutely.
you so much
Movement.
for sharing your worthy
Oh,
moments. It's phenomenal.
man. Thank you. Movement. It's who I am.
Mm,
It indicates life. It indicates progress, growth, maturity,
mm.
movement. Uh, yeah. I mean, there is none, there is no Maury without movement. That's real. That's
Whoa.
very real. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for real, for real. I think my mother would, she laughed one time and told my, I'll make it real quick, told my kids one time when she was here visiting, and she said, have you ever been in the car and your mother's been like, and they just cracked up laughing because I can't help it that God gives me choreography while I'm driving. Sorry, y'all. I ain't gotten into no accidents as a result of choreographing some nice pieces. So
That's right. That's right.
anyway, so movement is life for me,
Mm,
literally.
mm,
Strength. Strength, I found out, is has been bequeathed to me.
mm.
I have a legacy,
Yes.
a heritage, and even ancestry in strength. I've
Beautiful.
seen not just the women, but the men too, but definitely more identifiable in the women in my family,
Yes.
to the point where I see my first grandchild and I see, literally, I can see the strength that's been passed down. I don't know any other way to put it. Like, strength is um an inner, it's my inner core,
Mm-hmm.
literally. Um and not so strong that I can't be soft or pliable
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Mm,
I know that it is there. I see how it operates. I saw it in my grandmother. It's coming up on a year of her anniversary of her death, but I knew I'd seen it just like
mm.
beautifully,
Yeah.
um, as she laid there, and in her last days. But I could see how her strength and her
Mm.
resilience,
Yes.
but it was sweet and soft and
Mm-hmm.
pliable and giving, even though she was strong.
Yes.
Man,
That's powerful. I love that. I love that.
yes. So I know that that was bequeathed to me. And the reason I say that is because it's not anything that I could even say about myself, like, oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
this and this and this. I saw it there with her, and then I see it now in my granddaughter. I know my
Beautiful.
daughter's got it because it comes out in them other kind of ways with her, this younger generation.
That's
Anyway,
another.
that's a whole other one. And then
Right.
resilience, just bounce back,
Yeah.
baby.
Yes. Yes.
The word of God says that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to those that endure. This is not a
Mm-hmm.
sprint, it's a marathon. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely in it for the long haul. So resilience has been
Yes.
able to keep me relevant. And again, it's part of that intrinsic thing. I can't even say like, okay, well, how do I reinvent myself or whatever? I just
Right.
whatever, being led by the spirit of God and, ingenuity, creativity, all of those things all together help me to be resilient, to be
Okay.
able to say, oh, okay, well, that didn't quite work. So let me get to this next thing, or let me make sure that this is how that, let me iron that out that way so that I can stay relevant, so that I can stay in the vein. You talked about the competition kind of thing. I never really had to worry about it so much because thank God I just really, really just was myself. And that's what the Bible says, God's word says, that you know what, when you are doing what you're supposed to do, your gifts will make
Yeah.
room for
Right.
you
That's right.
and bring
That's
you
right.
before great men, great
That's right.
people, great
Mm-hmm.
things. So that's it. That's the resilience. I'm sticking to what I know God said was for me.
Movement, strength, and resilience. We
Yes,
love it.
ma'am.
We are loving it. We're so here for it. We wanted,
Definitely.
before we get into how everyone can contact you, I want you to go ahead and show and talk to us about some of your programs or services that you have for us. So we're going to allow that at this moment, and I'm going
Awesome.
to put that here. And
Okay. Let's see. So, yes, it's dance, fitness, and cardio, target toning and training. So, listen, Monique, the actress and comedian, she has the guy that is like her coach and keeps her moving, right? I can do that. I can be that for you. I do all kinds of workshops, master classes. I'm definitely Zumba certified, have hip hop dance workouts up the wazoo, jazzercise as well. It would be my awesome pleasure. So I do privates, and I have special rates and packages that are available. She's going to give you my contact information. So I have that to offer. I also definitely do private dance instruction as well as group dance instruction. I definitely am able and available to do groups, women's groups, men's groups, parties, whatever. I used to do this thing called First Friday Food Trucks, and we would do a gathering and I would teach different dance segments, all different dance styles, while people were enjoying their food and their Friday evening out getting food. So I do all kinds of coaching and private sessions for all different types of things from the stage, just so that you could, if you want to just catch up on what the current dances are. That's a wonderful thing to do. Also, lastly, what one of my recent things have been over the last couple of years, I do mat Pilates sessions, and there are definitely major special packages for people to do private sessions with me. Pilates is very, very, very rewarding. It is definitely results driven. I want people to know, for some time now, Pilates was looked at as a form of exercise that was not applicable, or nor was it welcoming to African American women or men. I want you to know that it is. And I'm available to be able to coach you privately, or even, like I said, small group sessions as well. No more than 5 people, anywhere from 1 to 5 people we could do sessions for. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. She's going to give you my information, so I'll be able to hear from you.
oh, Maury, those are exciting. Listen, let's get to your information before we close
Yes.
out. We are not done just yet, but I love that. Talk to us about the transition as I'm putting your information up, about the transition of Pilates. When I first heard of Pilates, let me tell you my Pilates story. So when I first heard of Pilates, it was from one of my students that I was teaching at USC. She came into the class, an acting
Mm-hmm.
class, and I think some of the students were commenting on her physique, well, her slender, her being so slender, right, and limber. And she said, "Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this thing called Pilates." And I said, "Well, what's that, honey?" "Oh, professor, let me tell you about the Pilates." And the only thing I remember her really saying was that it really slims you down, that it makes you
Gotcha.
slender, you're slim you
Mhm,
down. That's what
mhm,
I
mhm.
remember her saying the most. Is that so?
It is so. It definitely does that. I first thought that Pilates was a form of physical therapy for dancers. That I first heard about Pilates when I was in college. And so we did have to learn some different forms of like self-care therapy, massage therapy,
Okay.
reflexology. We learned a lot of different things. And so Pilates was where I'd first that I mean college was where I first heard about Pilates. And later, actually within the last 5 years, is when I began to get the true understanding as I got into becoming certified and studying. So it was not created as a physical training, I mean a physical therapy for dancers. Dancers use it as physical therapy because of the methodology and how it's the
Oh,
exercises are done. It's in alignment with the muscle usage that dancers have or use as they're
oh,
dancing.
that
Okay.
makes
So the
sense. Oh,
person, Mr. Joseph Pilates, he was actually in the circus and he created the apparatuses and
oh,
all the equipment based
oh.
on circus stuff.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
You
Isn't
all
that a
need to
trip?
get with Lori. She knows what she's saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a
Listen,
trip. It's a
her
trip.
her email is here. We're gonna put up how you
Yes.
can get in contact with Maury. Again, if you're
Yes.
watching the replay, don't worry about that. Put hashtag replay and we will get what you need to you. Okay. So
Yes.
there's her
Absolutely.
email, Maury.
Yes.
I love that. Or at Gmail. If you are on Facebook, she of course is on Facebook at Mori Edwards. We
Yes.
just showed her, you her phenomenal three different services, and you get to pick which one right works for you, right? Some of
Yes.
us are
Yes.
private or group, or we want to stretch out and see what the Pilates is like, or you want, she does things for you for your family. She does groups. She's
Yes.
always doing a celebration, a birthday party, teaching some girls on a girls trip somewhere.
Yes.
They want to
Absolutely.
do those things. So don't think that she doesn't have you covered, right? She's also
Absolutely.
available on Instagram. So we want to
Yes.
make certain that you are, available to her. And if you need her phone number, if you didn't catch that number, 310-686-0769. It was on
Yes.
her postcards that we just showed. Again, save
Yes.
those three different postcards, more that you were showing your three different services.
Sure. Absolutely. So we have dance fitness. Okay. We have dance coaching, like private sets. Like if say, for example, if you're a musical theater major and you want to get some polishing for performance that you're going to be
Oh,
doing,
nice.
or if you are an artist, a vocal artist. Back in the day, the record companies used to have an A&R, and the A&R would be responsible for artist development, developing you. So
Mhm.
nowadays we don't have record companies like we used to, right? A lot of people are being produced independently. So if you are an artist and you want to try to figure out what's my
Yeah.
movement style, I'm trying to convey this powerful stance, men and women alike, boys and girls groups, men's groups, boys groups, quartets. I got your background dancers, background singers, got you covered. So all of those kinds of things, but even for your own personal thing, if you're a karaoke artist and you want to have some little fancy moves when you go to the karaoke bar and you do your karaoke songs, you want a little movement, got you covered. And then lastly is the Pilates or the stretching. I do a myriad of movement in that vein. Like she mentioned, I've
Nice.
done retreats, and
Yeah.
I call it early morning stretching yawning.
Did my
So
retreat.
absolutely, I did. I sure did. We did movement that was Pilates
Yeah.
based. You don't have to have the machines. You don't have to have, you could just have a simple exercise mat, and I will show you all of the movements and things. I do private sessions. I used to have a couple of clients that were in the TV industry, film industry, and now I'm doing private lessons for patients of a chiropractor in Santa Monica. So it runs the gambit. Anything and all things movement. You need it, I got it.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely, she does. I want you to thank you so much, Maury. I so appreciate you,
Absolutely.
my sister friend. I want you to just,
Yes.
before you give us the last portion, before we release each other and our guests until next time, can you tell us what you're doing now? You just finished wrapping up the video for what you're doing, where you are. Just give us some little nuggets on where is Miss Maury today and what she's doing.
Woo! Trying to catch her breath. Listen, because it's going down. I'm thankful though. I'm so thankful, Deshawn. So what she spoke of is I just had the awesome privilege of serving as choreographer and dancer, which that was a little tidbit because I wasn't necessarily expecting to dance, but I just choreographed and danced in Dietrich Haddon's latest single release called "Here Comes the Joy." It was
Mm-hmm.
so much fun. So much fun. He also happens to be my pastor. And I know that people know him from, his music, or even not so long ago, the reality show, was it Preachers of LA? And
Yes.
so, but listen, he brings forth the word. But here's
Yes,
the
he does.
wonderful thing for me is that his integrity flows through. He's not a
Yeah.
different person as an artist.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
He's a hard worker. He knows what he wants. He's extremely, and I mean extremely creative. I'm so just enamored that I had been honored to choreograph his last video. So go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on all of your music platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So you can check it out at D Hattie if you check him out on Instagram. But you can check it out. It's called "Here Comes the Joy." So that just wrapped
Yes.
literally,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
didn't. Him and
Yes.
his team, they are on it. It just dropped on Friday, and then his birthday was yesterday, so he did this whole promo thing, and I was like, okay, wow. So I'm still, doing
Right.
it.
Right.
In the midst of putting together a summer workshop, a dance intensive, one for praise dance that I will be collaborating with my church to do, which is called Hill City, Los Angeles. And then I'm also going to do one on the secular side, working with a couple of different organizations, the Dancer and Me, which is connected with the Long Beach Unity Festival, and then also working with Dance for Joy Dance Company Ministries, working with them. I've got a couple, City of Inglewood is on my radar. We're trying to work some things out. So it's Miss Mori on the move for real.
It's for real. It's for real,
Absolutely.
everyone. Tell us about
Absolutely.
your your new credentials that you are being certified in different areas.
Oh, wowie kablowie. Yeah. Okay.
Wow,
So,
wowie.
wowie kablowie. One of my passions, as Mr. Sean has mentioned earlier, is about like helping people and things like that. I have a vision to be able to see people be able to express themselves and experience levels of liberation, levels of freedom. And so
Love that.
I
Love
am becoming certified as a life coach, a Christian. Well, I'm doing both right now, and I'm trying to see which one is going to yield
it. Hmm.
first. But I'm doing both. So
Yeah.
Christian counseling and life coaching, because what I want to do is, instead of have talk therapy, I want to do movement therapy.
Yes.
God has given
Yes.
me some
Yes.
specific things for marriages. For I want to work hand in hand with marriage and family therapists,
Hmm.
to use movement to bring wholeness and bring healing to people. So I'm
Yes.
doing that. I'm also on a track to be certified as an official like minister of dance. And lastly, yes,
Go, girl.
amen, amen, amen. And so, lastly, in addition to that, I am also on the ministerial staff, or becoming ordained at Hill City Church, Los Angeles, as a minister.
Right. I couldn't let her
All at the
go when
same
she'd
time.
even,
All at
I'm
the
like,
same
wait,
time.
there's just just the wholeness of the journey is what I want everyone to understand, that it
Absolutely.
happens organically when we say yes and surrender to God. That's what I
Absolutely.
want people to get, the takeaway. You're watching us
Yeah.
live, you're watching the replay. My shows are about content. And I wanted you to get, we're talking about the greatness of pursuing your purpose as a woman entrepreneur. But when you
Yes.
lean in and say yes and surrender to God, right? My goodness, look at what happens when you're not even thinking that. But
Right.
when you say
Right.
yes and surrender, the doors are opening and
Absolutely.
your territory is being enlarged. And it's so
Yes.
grateful, to say yes, and then you're seeing what's happening. So I just wanted you to share, because it
Yeah.
isn't just and when I say just, sometimes when we talk about
Mhm.
certain things, especially the arts, we become so tunnel visioned and we're not quite sure
Mm.
how that can span, but we can
It
create
really
and
can.
recreate, right? Amongst
Yes.
all things.
Yes.
And so I just wanted you to share that so that someone can say, wow, I never thought about that moving
Hmm.
into that
Hmm.
direction or how that can open up. So I just wanted you to be able to really delight us in, literally having unlimited possibilities. And so
Yes.
I
Yes, indeed.
thank you so much, my sister friend, my
Hey,
BFF. She's just the bomb.com.
thank
Um,
girl. Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you
You know
so
that
much,
D book.
Lord. Thank you. Thank you. And before she goes, she's going to share with us just this. You're like, there's always more. We call this the afterglow, honey. She's
Right.
going to
Okay.
share with you, right? Her pillars of strength. You've heard Maury's inside intimate journey. You've heard,
Yeah.
the hurdles and the inception and really what was her worthy moment. You've heard her three beautiful journey words and her intrinsic, ability to hear from God and say yes to him when he calls
Yeah.
her. But what has really been your pillars of strength in all of this as you continue to move forward? We'll just let you go and then we'll end on that note.
Awesome. Awesome. For real, really, everybody. My pillars are the word of God and my relationship with the God that I serve.
Yes.
Really. That's what holds me together. That's what is my standard in terms of, okay, am I right or am I wrong? Was I wise in this choice or was I not? Was I being
Mm,
selfish? And I make myself available for God's spirit to convict me if I'm wrong,
yeah.
to make me say sorry when I need to let people know, hey, I made a mistake, forgive me, and then to extend forgiveness as well. So that's it. I mean, you know, really, really, that's
Yeah.
my pillar. I see so many different things through the lens of the word.
Mm,
Even looking way, way back, God showed me, he said, I didn't raise you in the church. You weren't raised in church. He said, but I met you every day at the dance studio. And he literally showed me, gave me a vision to be able to see that. And so as an adult, when he showed me that, I can look back through those
yes.
lenses. Jobs that I should have gotten. I should have been on tour with Janet Jackson. And I was like, how come, God, I can't? He showed me why. I said,
Yes.
oh, okay, let
Yes.
me go on about my business. Because he showed me why. No
Yeah.
shading. I love
Yeah.
Janet. And I
Yeah.
love Tina
Yeah.
Landon. It was
Yeah.
amazing. But working with her when I did, this was before she became, who she was with Janet. But I did work with her and it was amazing. So, but the thing is that through that pillar, that's what held me together.
All right.
Really. From
Okay.
age 3.
I love it.
Had no
That's it.
idea that
Yeah.
that was going to be it, but it is what it is.
It is
Amen.
what it is. Well, it's a lot of is what it is. It's bountiful, it's full, and
Yeah.
you have
Thank you.
truly deposited into our spirits, our souls, our minds. You have really began to allow those that are watching, including myself, to rethink some things and reshift and redirect and not
Yes.
limit God, not limit
Right.
God, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I want to thank you for being able to come on to the Yummy
Thank you.
Cafe at the table and let us literally get that backstage pass for what do those things look
Yes.
like for you. And I hope that this has been a joy for everyone that are watching with us live. We have some people been watching us. I know you don't feel like we got hearts over there. They've been hearting you, Maury.
Oh,
Um,
yay.
Yes, 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 yes. So we're just so grateful to you for listening and allowing us into your lives, into your rooms, living rooms, wherever you are on this Wednesday. We thank you. And I'm going to be back again next month with another powerful, successful woman entrepreneur. And as I always say, make sure that you are safe and you know that I miss you already. And of course, live life magnified. Until next time, smooches and deuces. And I will see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome
Thank you.
show. Yeah.